Stubs.
You ain't got no intro for this at all, do you?
No, like I told you, man.
So I talked you into this.
You talked me into this.
Literally just a to placate me because I'm the only of 5 to 15 super big Marvel nerd fans that
5
actually
to 15
give a crap.
year olds, yes.
Yes, 5 to 15 year olds.
You're a 5 to 15 year old.
Like all the 5-year-olds that know all the political drama that is usually instilled into these movies.
Yeah.
But yes, so this is more for my benefit and maybe just to catch you up on some stuff now that do you know how many movies into the MCU we're in right now?
How many? Okay, so
if you're starting from Iron Man, Incredible Hulk in 2008, how many have there been up until now? Just movies, not shows.
Just movies?
Yeah. Theatrical run movies.
I'm going to guess this is the 28th.
No.
More?
Yeah.
34.
You're close.
That's the last guess you're
Brave
getting
New
out
World
of me.
is 35.
So Brave New World is the 35th entry
Guess
in the
what
Marvel Cinematic
40
Universe.
is.
Will 40 be Doomsday?
Nope.
Or Secret Wars or whatever?
Secret Wars will be 40. It's a nice benchmark.
It's like a clean exit. It's right there. It's waiting for him to take it. Absolutely.
Skip out and be done with it, but we won't be done with it.
Probably not.
We're not going to be done with it.
Yeah.
So the purpose of we were going to do a Brave New World review, but I feel like it's been more than enough time to probably do that.
Okay, but I put a short out there that was like, I gave it my number and my sub. So go ahead, give a quick review.
No, I'm too biased on this. The whole purpose of this was that I was gonna go through the current phases that we're in and just talk about what the stuff that is currently unresolved. So like all the little Easter egg or plot point things that they've done that currently doesn't have like any mention or they've set up and never paid off on in the course of the previous 2 phases. Do you know what phase we're in right now?
5, right?
Yes. 4 and 5.
Yeah.
So the whole point of it, and as we go through the entirety of them, because that's what we'll just do them real quick and all the stuff that you may or may not remember.
Okay.
Because there's not as many as you think. And then we'll just talk about Brave New World since it's the most recent one.
Okay.
Because there's a handful of things that are the tail end of this, and then we can get into some like speculation stuff if you want. So that's the major reason, because I feel like as we recently talked to your dad about
really
stuff,
quick. So just as a layman's terms, this is post Endgame unresolved threads recap.
Right. So it's the first 3 phases was 1 through 3 and ends with Endgame. So that's the first 10 years.
Yep.
And then everything. Do you know what starts phase 4?
Was it WandaVision?
No shows. We're just doing.
Oh, that's right. As far as the movies go, oh man, what was the first one after?
Well,
I can't remember.
Endgame was like 2019. Is that right?
Well, I mean, we had a pandemic, and that kind of threw everything
the
into
pandemic threw everything
up
off.
in the air.
So
it was Shang-Chi.
Just try again.
Oh, I don't know. It wasn't
Black Widow.
Oh, it was Black Widow. Black Widow was that summer release that they did. You're right.
Which is still not the major.
Which takes place.
It's before Endgame. So it's not
Endgame,
the
right.
best. No, actually, it's before Infinity War because she changes her hair color.
Yeah, I mean, right.
That's okay. So we're getting right into it. So start of phase 4. Black Widow is 21. So, or 2021, not the 21st movie, but she's dead. At the very end, at the end of the post credits for it, her sister comes up to her grave and she's reminiscent of her being dead. Why her grave would just be in the middle of nowhere, and she's all because we just watched an entire movie with her relationship with her sister.
That's where Elaine shows up,
and then Julia Louis-Dreyfus shows up.
Okay,
it's her first appearance.
That's her first instance
Valentina.
Who's
the equivalent. For this character, that is from, if anybody recalls her showing up in the handful of stuff she's shown up in, she's the equivalent of like she's like the anti Nick Fury, essentially.
I was gonna say she's Thunderbolts Nick Fury.
Well, in comic book terms, this character does exist, and she's been at odds and had relationships and stuff with Nick Fury in the comics. The white Nick Fury, not Sam Jackson Nick Fury, because there's unfortunately two different ones in the comics.
Yeah, that's true.
But her character, I think, in the concept of the MCU is the replacement for Norman Osborn in the comics. Because Norman Osborn takes over S.H.I.E.L.D., he dismantles S.H.I.E.L.D. actually, and then he creates his own international force called Hammer, which is the big thing going forward. So I think that with her setup and stuff as being like government agent turnaround and setting up her own super team and stuff, which is inevitably going to pay off with the Thunderbolts and stuff, that was her whole purpose, I think. So, okay, what else? Do you remember anything else from the end of Black Widow? The Red Room's gone.
I mean, so the end of Black Widow, David Harbour is alive and broken legs.
Red Guardian,
right? They're coming to pick him up, and Nat takes off. Or no, or does Yelena take off?
They have their little, like...
They have, like, a family goodbye.
And she meets up with some black market guy.
It's the arms guy, the guy who's, like, their money penny out of nowhere.
It's essentially where they get a hold of a Quinjet that they end up flying around and escaping around in by the time Infinity War rolls around. Because at this point, the Soviet Accords are in play, and they're on the run. Yeah. Her and Sam Wilson and Cap are on the run. Right. So... That's where that ends. There's also Valentina at the end of that where they're at the gravesite and stuff. She hands her the dossier and is like, "This is who's responsible for your sister's death." Do you remember that at all?
I don't remember who it was.
Well, it's Hawkeye.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
She shows him the picture of Clint, and then that's why Yelena shows up in the Hawkeye show.
Even though we're not talking about shows.
Well, but that's
I remember that. No, it's the best part of the series.
It's one of the very few things that's actually paid off from the rest of this stuff, because it actually gets followed up on. Most of this has not. Yeah. Okay, so Black Widow, the only other thing from Black Widow is that and this will again feed into Thunderbolts, is that because all the Widows have basically like lost all of their mind control.
Yeah, she destroys. Yeah,
they're all free to do what they want, which also kind of feeds into Brave New World, because the Israeli girl is a fake, or not fake, but it has been retconned into being a Black Widow.
Yeah,
and the drama that exists behind all that stuff, but essentially, the Taskmaster character, who's a female in the movie, she's also under the thumb of Ray Stevenson? Who is that? Who's the bad guy?
That's not Ray Stevenson. I don't know, man.
I was going to say Brian Cox, and I'm like, that's not right.
Dude from... You're talking about Black Widow villain? Oh, man, I don't know. Generic old white guy who's got control problems.
He was Beowulf. Who is that? Oh.
Generic toxic male. That's who's really keeping Black Widow down.
All right, whatever. Anyways, so all right. But yeah, Taskmaster, that lady who I think is something, it's like Anthony Master or something like that. But she's alive and she's free, and I think Yelena, or one of the Black Widows, says that they're going to take care of her, and for some reason she's going to pop up in Thunderbolts, because we've seen her in trailers and stuff. All right, next one. You already said it.
God, we're really going to go through all these?
Not all of them are as expansive.
The next movie is Shang-Chi.
Yes. Okay. So
which is a movie that I enjoy. I remember enjoying that one.
Perfectly fine. It's huge disappointment that we have not seen him in anything else up until this point, because Simu Liu, that guy is adamant about popping up and stuff. Yeah. They just have not used him, which is a shame. Yeah. All right. At the end, he beats his dad. They kill the giant dragon monster thing.
Kills the dragon monster thing.
What happens in the post credits? Do you remember it all?
I do remember this, and the what are they? Magic Sparkle Circle, as reference to Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yep.
Opens up, and is it Wong?
Mm-hmm.
Wong's there, and he's like, "Hey, I need you. Come join what will probably be a version of the Avengers one day if we ever get to it. But proper Bruce Banner is there.
It's
and
as a hologram. Him and Carol,
right?
Captain Marvel, are standing there, and they're taking. Wong is doing some sorcerer magic to investigate the rings.
Yeah,
and they zoom in on it so much so to like a atomic level for some reason. Yeah. And do you remember what they say?
No, but I imagine it's something that's going to set up Miss Marvel.
It's a setup for something that never pays off. So they say that it is a beacon. It's sending out a message for something. The rings themselves are like calling
and
out
activated. They've rung the bell.
Whatever. Ding, 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 ding. It's all.
Guess what? We get to come back around to that again because the last one.
Are you saying
did that same thing?
That Jesse Eisenberg that's basically the exact same post credits?
Yeah,
it kind of is.
It does it in Brave New World too, buddy.
That's what I'm saying. It's the same exact
Brave
concept.
New World and Shang-Chi, I guess.
No, well,
there's just a little more.
The same thing.
There's a little bit of an audience to that, but it's the same thing.
So that does happen.
It's okay. So I remember those.
That does happen, and then Bruce, is normal Bruce, which everyone was like, that doesn't make sense. I thought he couldn't change back and stuff, but that gets explained in She-Hulk anyways. Right. He creates a device that can turn him back into human, which kind of makes you think that the Hulk personality would be pissed about that, but whatever. So
we've said we're not going to talk any TV,
but there is stuff
and we've already had to dip into 2 TV shows.
That does get paid off eventually. It's just not
paid off is a very strong word for what they've done with these leads.
We're all
right.
Forward.
So is that the only?
That's kind of the only
thing. Was there anything at the end?
Sometimes they go off and they play karaoke.
I was going to say sometimes they do the double.
His sister, his sister is in charge of the Mandarins,
taking the Mandarin.
Wayne Wu's the Ten Rings.
Yeah,
the organization, not the rings themselves.
The League of Assassins.
Right, essentially, she's in charge of. Which I would have liked them to say the Hand. They're bringing Daredevil back into the fold. I don't know why they can't just say it's the Hand, but whatever, it's fine. So the Ten Rings organization is still out there being ran by Shang-Chi's sister. So, okay, next one.
Eternals.
Okay, we've just dealt with this. The Tiamat, the giant celestial that was popping out of the ground, is dealt with in Brave New World. Yep. Now the question is, in narrations in different media or explanations of the plot and stuff, they say that Cersei turns the thing into marble. So that's technically what its exterior is, and I don't know if they're drilling into it and finding adamantium inside of it, or if it is. Okay, the only reason adamantium is important at all in the Marvel universe is because it's what Wolverine's bones are made of.
Yeah.
Nothing else. That in the comics, in various incarnations and stuff, Ultron is made from it. And technically, I guess Captain America's shield is a blend hybrid of adamantium and vibranium with some steel in there, I guess. But it's not like structures and stuff are made from it. Like, it's so rare in normal.
Well, it's hard
Marvel
to manipulate
canon.
And all that stuff. And,
it's just and it's a synthetic thing. It's not a naturally made. It's a man-made thing. It's not natural. So. But, okay, so this is the other... So whether or not there's a ton of it or there's very little of it and whatever they can actually bore out of the thing for future stuff and whatever the heck they're going to try and make out of it, there's another Celestial that they have mined.
He shows up at the end.
No. In the whole of the MCU, there's another Celestial that is dead that we know they have farmed stuff from.
Talk about Mankind?
No.
Well, nowhere
in Guardians.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
They are
mining it. They are mining it as you're there. They hop in mining carts or whatever.
So who's to say that adamantium as a substance isn't naturally just exists within them and is just somewhere else? Specifically,
this is a rare time where I wish that we had cameras so you could see how disinterested my face is, listeners.
This isn't for you. This is just so me to bounce off
ideas.
Okay,
that's fine. Okay.
So,
okay.
If
I miss that, I miss the passion though.
If it exists,
that you have, I wish I had the passion.
If it's still out there, if it exists
as
within
a
the universe
cosmic
and stuff,
element out there,
right?
Okay.
Where have we probably seen it?
I don't know, man.
What,
I have no clue.
What does it do? What is adamantium supposed to do?
Be indestructible?
Right? And it cuts through anything.
Okay.
What have we seen cut through a substance that normally should not have cut through anything?
I don't know. How
does the shield get destroyed?
I talk about, so you think Thanos' battle?
It's very possible.
Okay, well, I mean,
if it's something that is not man-made, and
God,
it's not
I
specific,
don't want to. Do I want? You're saying let's dip back into phase 3 again?
No, I'm just saying
we started this fourth phase by diving back into phase 2
I'm saying
already.
If it's important, if it's supposed to be something that's important
really
going forward to any future like reasonings, there's got to be something else that it's got to go. It's got to be based on. It can't literally only be for Wolverine.
I think you're being really optimistic as far as the trajectory of where we're going
of
here.
This thing can't just focus solely just to bring Wolverine into the fold of this. What's the purpose of even saying that internationally it's important at all?
Well, I mean, again, none of this is going to matter is what that comes down to.
I mean, yes. In 5 more movies, yes, it's not going to matter at all.
That's the reality of it. Is like they can say whatever they want to do.
All right, so
let's keep.
The only other thing for Eternals.
So the Eternals post creds were you had Pip and
yes. So when 3 of them, Jolie and 2 of the others, end up leaving the planet and they are in transit to go to wherever on the Domo, Pip the Troll, who's voiced by, do you remember?
Simon Pegg? No. No, who is that?
Holy cow,
no, who is that?
It's Patton Oswalt.
Patton Oswalt.
And who else? Do you remember who else shows up?
Harry Styles is the other guy. But I can't remember the character
his name is Star Fox or Eros. He's Thanos' brother in continuity of Marvel Comics and stuff.
Okay.
He's also an Eternal, but it's a deviation. I don't know if they'll explain this at all, but Thanos is from Titan, and that was an offshoot of Eternals that essentially abandoned their responsibilities and then decided to form their own society on one of Saturn's moons. So like his whole Thanos is not an original, like controlled by the Celestials Eternal. They became their own independency and stuff away from the ones we saw in that movie at that point. But they're still the same. They're still from the same breed, I guess, if you wanted to say that. So Harry Styles shows up. That has not been resolved at all. We don't know what the heck's going on with that. The other Eternals get pulled off of Earth and then like time warped away with the one Celestial Arishem who's just takes them away for judgment, I guess. And so now they're not on Earth anymore, with the exception of the little girl. I think she got left behind.
Maybe.
Do you remember? Okay, so then there's one other thing. What's the other thing?
Jon Snow and Blade. Yeah.
So Jon Snow is Dan Whitmore, who inevitably would be the Black Knight,
right?
And he's the ebony blade is his thing, and he opens it up. That's a stinger at the end of Eternals.
It looks sword.
It's a sword. We don't know. It's not important. I don't have any explanation for any of this. And then a random ADR voice line is thrown off from off screen, and we've been told that it's Blade, but it could be literally anyone.
Bet that voice gets changed at some point in time.
I'm sure it would. He's not credited. I mean, people say that it's him, but who knows if it really is Mahershala Ali or not. But okay, so Eternals, that was 21. There's one more from 21.
There's another movie that was in 21?
There were 4. Because Black Widow and Eternals got released on Disney Plus. Well, I mean, technically, I think both of them did have a actual
Eternals was release. November. They released another one after Eternals.
Yeah, we got nothing from 2020. I don't think it was 19 for Endgame, and then then there was a whole year where nothing happened, and then these probably were supposed to release.
Well, right.
And then the pandemic hit,
right?
Then they got pushed back, and then they were like, "Well, we're not going to get these released, so we're going to put it on streaming."
Right.
Even though there was kind of a theatrical
What's
release.
the next one?
Spider-Man.
I thought that was the year later.
Nope, it's 21. It was December.
No Way Home is December 21.
Yeah. It's weird. How crazy is that? Really think of it.
I thought that was 22 for sure. But okay. All right. I mean, okay. So No Way Home is 21.
No Way Home, and so the obvious thing for that at the end of it is that everyone's forgotten who he is.
Yeah, he's all right. Clean slate for Peter Parker.
So that's pretty clear cut.
Yep.
I mean, the only thing the best thing about that is, for me at least, for Spider-Man in general, is that it's getting him back to his basics. Like that is literally him at his best, when he's got nothing and no one, and the only thing he's got to rely on is his own ingenuity and his own mind. That is the Peter Parker we have not seen through the MCU. He's always had help. He's always had to rely on, Tony Stark and stuff to get him through things.
Yeah.
So hopefully, if we get, because there's a fourth one that is in one of this slate, and one of those 5 is supposed to be the sequel.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 4.
Yeah.
That's, I guess, coming out next year. And they filmed nothing for it so far.
That's what I keep hearing. So,
but I mean, so that was the big thing, was getting to see, I think, see how he can progress in a true blue Parker fashion, where everything goes wrong for him. The good old Parker luck, which is inevitably states that when something good happens, something equally as bad, if not worse, happens.
Sure.
So that is kind of his.
He never catches a break.
Line.
It's the opposite. Right.
Unfortunately,
just piles
Peter
on.
Parker for the MCU has been very coddled, I think, up until now. So I'd like to see him as a downtrodden kind of Peter Parker. It's the Tobey Maguire, I guess, in the Spider-Man 2. It's Peter Parker. He's just so sad.
Just people treating him like an absolute nerd and bum. And can't even deliver pizzas on time.
Can't get no respect.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm hoping for. If whatever we get from another Spider-Man, hopefully that'll be something similar to that.
Okay.
There's one glaring thing that does get kind of, I guess, addressed in something that is not necessarily MCU adjacent.
What?
The Venom goo.
Oh, they show the Venom. Yeah. He's sitting at a bar, isn't he?
Sitting at the bar, and then that's the last bit that you see.
Yeah, you see Venom.
Left behind portion of the symbiote is still there.
And he leaves a bit of it behind.
And Last Dance kind of doesn't address it at all. Or it does, and then it gets thrown to the wind, I guess, because that movie is a dumpster fire.
Like a turd in the wind?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Well, that movie is a turd in the wind.
It's totally it. I don't even
on its best day.
Even just the mention of it makes my brain hurt. But okay,
it's not good.
Now we're in 22.
22.
That actually isn't the last thing that you do see at the end of Spider-Man, because you see the trailer to this next one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't remember. You're just going to tell me, man. I don't remember these things.
Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, okay.
So Doctor Strange.
Yep, gotcha. Doctor Strange versus I'm mad my babies are dead. I can go get them from another universe, but I'm not gonna.
Huh? Babies? What?
Yeah, Wanda's all upset because her family's gone. And...
Okay, so that's the questionable thing, is whether or not Wanda is dead. And then
apparently she is not, because none of her movies did well after she left Marvel. So now she's willing to come back and be like, well, I guess I'll do another one.
Just Elizabeth Olsen in general is...
Yeah, I think Elizabeth Olsen thought she was done, and then she realized...
I'm a better actor. I could do other things. I don't have to rely on this.
And then I think she kind of realized shortly after, like, all right, maybe I should do another one or two more of these.
Everyone should look at it from the Harrison Ford approach. You get paid. That's all that matters. You go in and you get the money, and then you walk out.
Yeah.
Done deal. Like, he knows the score. He knows the best way to go about this business. It's not for any artistic integrity. It's just to get paid.
Yeah.
That's all that should matter.
All right, so Multiverse of Madness.
The stingers at the end.
Well, obviously there's Pizza Ball.
Pizza Ball.
Or whatever it is.
Pizza Papa.
Pizza Balls, Pizza Papa.
Yeah.
It's Bruce Campbell punching himself.
It is.
Well, but before that is the... it's Charlize Theron. Yes. It's
you're not gonna remember her name.
No, I don't remember.
Clea. So Clea is this in the comics. She is an sometimes adversary, but usually a ally of Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Who they inevitably become husband and wife.
Right.
But she is the Sorcerer Supreme of the Dark Dimension. She's actually the niece of Dormammu, the bad guy from the Dark Dimension.
Okay.
So, and when she shows up at the end of that, she kind of
She
tears
just whisks him off, right? She's like, let's.
She tears a hole open into another reality, which totally looks like the Dark Dimension. So whatever he's gonna go do is gonna involve that. But that's like Harry Styles, a character that they've introduced and done nothing with.
Yeah, well,
and
I mean, right.
It's like, hey, we've cast this person. Hopefully nothing happens and we can reuse them in the future.
Don't worry, Wong's around, so it's fine.
3 years ago now. Nothing's happened.
Yeah.
So, okay. So
there's another dead end. Gotcha.
So there's that is, well, and then all the Illuminati in that. Technically, the Mordo of the MCU is still running around.
All right, so really quick, guys, just in case you haven't watched it, it's in the movie The Multiverse of Madness. When we're talking about the Illuminati, there's like a collection of very powerful characters that are they all from the one universe?
Yeah,
so they are all from the one universe.
They
kill Strange in that universe.
Right. But their purpose in that is that Strange. That version of Strange had gotten a hold of the Darkhold and become powerful enough to stop Thanos before he eradicated half of the universe. And they collectively went to fight
Best
him
interest.
Together.
Right.
And then at the end of it, they realized that Strange was too powerful to be left to his own unchecked, and they kill him right then and there.
Right.
So, and these are the remainder of the Illuminati that was left.
Do that, right.
So
it's a bunch of different variants of different characters.
Right. So you get, I mean, we don't have to go through
We don't need to go through them, but Jim from The Office is there. He turns into spaghetti.
Yes, he does.
Patrick Stewart's there.
I kind of wish we would still see Jim from The Office, but
hey, guess what? I'm going to guess that there's still a good chance you get him. He might mature up a little more.
I don't know.
He'll be ready for it by the time that they're going to really do that.
He's spaghettified, though.
Buddy, all this stuff, listen, everything we're talking about, it's going out the window in 5 movies, dude.
Who knows?
It's all going out the window. They will be starting fresh after 5 movies. All right.
So, but the only other thing from Multiverse that is important, I think, that's not necessarily unresolved, but it is the first inclination that we have for it is the incursions. The incursions are when 2 different realities come crashing in on each other. This is what, in the comics, springboards off to what the Secret Wars story will be, where in the 616 Marvel Comics continuity, the normal 616 and the Ultimate Universe collide, and they're literally fighting it out to see which reality is going to survive, and then both of them get destroyed. And then Secret Wars is the world that takes place after that. So I think inevitably that is important to whatever potentially Doomsday will revolve around. That's my best guess. Okay. If they're following any kind of the normal comic tropes and stuff, it seems right now that they're really hinting towards that's what's going to happen.
Let me tell you, they're really hitting the comic tropes very well in these movies. You know how I realize this? If you look at...
Because you don't care?
No, if you look at all of these movies as one big trade paperback, that's
how I look at it.
The first 3 issues were really great. They've ran out of ideas, and we've just got a bunch of crap in 4 and 5. And in
it's all multiverse stuff.
And in issue 6, there'll be just enough to keep you coming back to buy the next trade paperback.
That's the whole purpose of this. Like, it's all set up to the Avengers. It's always been that.
I get it. I'm just saying. It's following comics to a T.
Dude.
It is following the comic format perfectly.
Even less so, because in the comics, like, there are so much ancillary character stuff that they throw in there that unless you've been reading for the past 40 to 50 years, you're not going to have any idea do you know who the Molecular Man is? He's super important in Secret Wars, but if they throw him into this, there's no one's going to have a freaking idea who the heck he is. So that's where we're kind of at with this.
Do you remember the other Molecular Man?
The Molecular Man.
That's the one I'm talking about. Okay, good. All right.
This feeds back.
El Moleculos.
Yeah. So,
anyways.
But it is, I think, going to be important going forward. But I had something else. Anyways, we're continuing on. Do you know what's next? 22. No.
Multiverse of Madness, which was May.
This would have been July.
Thor 4.
Okay. Thor and Love and Thunder. This is super easy. He's got a daughter.
It's a bad movie.
He's got a daughter.
She is love,
I guess.
and he is thunder.
That is a name.
Yep.
So what else at the very end of it?
Oh,
Jordan knows. Jordan's walking through. Who shows up at the end of Thor?
Dude, that guy doesn't remember. Are you kidding me?
He was so excited. You guys were so excited.
I'd bet my car.
You guys were so excited.
Who is it?
When he showed up. No?
Oh, I remember.
It's Noel, right?
No.
No?
You know who it is?
Who?
It's
Roy Kent.
It's Roy Kent.
Oh.
Gladiator Hercules.
Hercules shows up at the end.
Roy Kent. Hey, do you remember? Yeah, Roy
About that.
Roy Kent and Danny Rojas are in the Marvel movies. Yet somehow not interesting at all so far. They have done nothing.
See? Again, this is the third character that they've introduced.
Dude, we're just going
that
through all
doesn't
this,
have-
and it's painful.
Doesn't have anything to do
They've
with...
done nothing with any of them.
Yep.
Yeah, it's they're just setting it up for at some point.
So,
but
Brett
it's
Goldstein.
not gonna
Brett
be great.
Goldstein,
Brett
right?
Goldstein is who they cast as Hercules, who shows up at the end of Thor.
And he's
And
like, "Hey, I'm Hercules."
Well, Zeus as
Russell
Crowe is like blah 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 blah. Hey, my son, go do some stuff.
Right.
And Hercules is like, yeah, father, and then that's it. You get nothing else.
Yeah.
So, and then I guess technically at the very very end, you find out that Natalie Portman is
She goes to Valhalla.
is in heaven, is in Viking heaven,
She's in Viking heaven.
and Idris Elba's there. That's
Yep.
it. Yeah, she's
And that
dead.
works out well for her science.
Sure does. Yep. This is the most scientific person that could possibly exist in these movies, dealing with theory and magic.
Yeah.
And she ends up in heaven.
Yeah. Pretty much, right?
All right. So there's 3 technically in 22. This is the last movie of Phase 4.
All right. Thor.
No.
No, I'm trying. I'm
Strange
walking
Thor.
through it.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, Thor. Honestly, for all my money in the world, I would have said that's where Spider-Man Far From Home or No Way Home came out.
Oh, was it the after Thor?
After Thor,
No.
but I guess you're wrong. I'm wrong.
It
I'm
sets
wrong.
up. Yeah, Strange sets up Multiverse.
Let's see. That's not the Marvels. Marvels.
Nope. You're a year ahead.
I'm a year ahead.
Wakanda.
Oh, okay. Wakanda Forever. Okay. So, mutants get discussed, don't they?
Oh, not really. I mean, I don't think they say Namor is a mutant.
Elaine is back.
The first, yeah, Elaine comes back.
Elaine
you
comes
find
back.
out that her
and
and
Ross,
Martin Freeman,
yeah, her and Ross are
an item.
They were
she's his
ex-husband and
ex-wife,
wife or whatever. Yeah.
Which is super. I mean, not necessary.
To me, I think that's like it's one of the.
I would have rather have seen a prequel of them together than Secret Invasion.
I'll take
would have
that
been way more
series.
fun.
Absolutely, I'll take
Way
that
more
series
fun.
anytime.
But
yes,
yeah,
let Larry David write it.
sure, why not? But she's not fun in these movies. Like every time she's popped up, she's just kind of
snarky.
Yeah, she's just mean
snarky.
and,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I mean, against type from I guess Elaine or anything, but it's different for her, I suppose. She's never been like a bad guy, I guess, so it's whatever. But yeah, they don't drop mutants for Namor at all.
Okay.
The first time you hear mutant in the MCU is in the Ms. Marvel show, and that hasn't happened at this point yet.
Okay.
But so like the big thing at the end, do you remember anything from the end?
Well,
there's only a couple.
You see, you're told that T'Challa has a son.
Yes.
Or you meet T'Challa's son.
Yes.
So that's the one that I remember.
Okay.
I don't know if I remember the other one, though.
That's the only one.
That's the only one for that movie?
Right. So,
okay, well, T'Challa's got a son. There you go.
So it's... Well, okay.
A secret son.
It gives them a way out to essentially say if they wanted to timey-wimey, like age him up and say, here's the new actor who's technically playing the Black Panther, whose name is also T'Challa, because that is...
Right.
He literally says his name is T'Challa.
Right.
So,
right.
like...
They didn't want to
not,
just multiverse bring one a variant.
You know what
in.
the dumbest thing is? That they should just bite the bullet and just admit to it. Just throw Michael B. Jordan into this. Just let him be the Black Panther. He wants to do it anyways.
I won't
He's
argue
been great
with you.
in it so far. They retcon stuff at this point. Harrison Ford can be a character that has been one guy for the past 15 years. Why not? You know, people accept it. It'd be fine. And he'd be way better at it, I think, than most people.
I mean, to me, it's like they could do whatever they want here. Yeah.
It is a huge. I mean, you don't care, but I care. Not having him in it, not having Chadwick in these, which he was supposed to be kind of like, I think, the rallying character that was going to do a lot of connective tissue in these movies. And by not having him there, by not having that like linchpin, it's a huge loss. And there's a lot of bad things that have happened throughout this franchise that I think they've conceded and had to do like a lot of like
about face just changes,
right,
where they're just like,
through the
this didn't work, so we've got to change,
stuff,
right?
Or things that, you know, just happen in reality, writer strikes and stuff. It's affected, tons of things have affected. I mean, we're going up on, you know, 20 years almost of these movies, so there's a lot of things have happened, but in comics it doesn't matter. Like, all those characters are always there. You could always rewrite something to bring someone back if you need to use them for whatever context.
Yeah.
But this is so detrimental to, you know, actors being available, actors being alive, you know, things working out the same way. It's a shame. So anyways, so that's the big thing. Yep, Valentina gets introduced. Ross is around. Ironheart is a thing. She's getting her own show, so she gets introduced in that. That's kind of it, I think. Does Rhodey show up in Wakanda? I don't think he does.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. He does show up in a movie though, doesn't he? No, his first appearance back from Endgame is in Falcon the Winter Soldier. So he technically hasn't been in any of the movies, if I remember right. So, all right, anyway, so that's the end of Phase 4. Wakanda is the end of Phase 4. What starts Phase 5? It's a long shot. You're not going to know.
No, I'm not. I haven't known any of these.
You knew. Okay, that's fine. You've known a few. You're
Quantumania.
Yes, Quantumania. Quantumania is 22. So that, or 23. Sorry, 23. So
famously, just a movie.
It exists. There's fun stuff in it.
I don't hate it as much as most people do.
Like all the alien stuff and everything in it is still
got a
fun.
Godzilla joke.
There's perfectly sustainable things in it. It's unfortunately just hampered by the infamousness of Jonathan Majors now, and the fact that they bank so hard.
They were going all in on that guy.
People that don't know, that the next Avengers movie was supposed to be a Kang movie starring Jonathan Majors. He was going to be the new bad guy going forward into whatever the next Avengers were going. He was the Thanos of what this multiverse saga was supposed to be. And series of events happened. They can't plan out for everything, and they dumped him, and all of his storyline stuff is shut down with like a quick Owen Wilson stinger at the end.
They just wipe it away, essentially.
Does that
on a TV show?
That's the end of Loki.
That's the end of Loki season 2. They just.
It's like, hey, there's been some Kang stuff going on.
There it goes.
Don't worry about it. We've
got it under control.
We've got that under lock and key.
Yeah.
And then we'll never see him again. I mean, they could.
They are not. No, it's gone, man. Like, there's no reason for him to...
Well, not to bring him back, but they could recast the character, throw somebody else in there.
That's what I'm saying. At this point...
That character has had multiple interpretations that don't go by Kang, so you could, I guess, have somebody else show up in it. Quantumania.
We finished Quantumania.
Kang is out.
There's a billion Kangs at the end, but none of that matters. Kang is out, right?
There's only some setup stuff that is barely touched on. The fact that his daughter is a superhero now, that potentially would theoretically lead into some Young Avengers stuff.
Not Kang's daughter.
No, there's no Kang's daughter.
You just said his daughter. You said his daughter with no context.
No, Scott Lang's.
Cassie Lang.
Yes.
Is now essentially in line to fit in with the other Young Avengers that are going to happen eventually.
They keep assuming that this is going to be set up, but there's no place for it. So
they all show up at the end.
And like you said, in 5 movies, none of this is going to matter anyway.
You might as well bring in
you know what
Roy Kent and everybody. Roy Kent can show up, and that's fine.
It'll be the girl power moment in Endgame. They'll just be like, all the kids will show up at the end of like one of the Avengers movies, and it'll be like, this is the moment, and then it's thrown away.
Doctor Doom kills him in one swipe or something high, you know.
Knows?
So,
but the other thing that I thought was kind of funny which means nothing, but I'm like, it'd be kind of cool if this was just something that they kind of just played around with. Is that Paul Rudd can kind of predict the future. Because he second guesses himself in his own like narration or his own like inner monologue, where he's just like, "Wow, did I just mess things up? Did I just make things worse?
Oh my gosh.
Is he really gone? Is he dead?"
That's funny.
So like, I mean, it doesn't matter, but
Sure.
it's just in the Paul Rudd, Scott Lang kind of moments. If it ever did pay off, he could have been like, "I was right," or it doesn't mean anything to anyone except for him.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just thought because Paul Rudd's always fun in these
movies.
movies.
He is. He's great. He's a great.
And he's the only one that I think I would have said that he's the most grounded of all of them, which I
think
Sam
a lot
Wilson
of them come off
been
fairly grounded. Oh, you're talking
Like
about as far
Falcon-
as power set where they
'cause
really
he's
land
just a
on
dude.
everything, right?
Just like Falcon is just a dude, but he's not grounded anymore because he's got this higher stature to him and stuff.
I
now.
guess.
But Ant-Man had always been the guy who is Spider-Man, I guess, to an extent, but he's like, I fought aliens and stuff now. So, but like, Paul Rudd just wants to go get ice cream with his daughter. He doesn't care if he fought aliens and stuff. He totally uppercut a giant space whale.
He did uppercut a space whale once. Yeah.
He totally did.
Yeah.
All right. So 23. There's only 3 in this year. So do you remember it comes after Quantumania? This would have been in July. No, May. It's the last of the very, very good ones.
Guardians 3.
Guardians 3.
Okay. All right.
Which there's not a lot to discuss with this if you don't remember like the end stingers for this.
Guardians 3 end stinger. Peter Quill's dad? Grandpa?
He goes home.
He goes home and Peter Quill comes back to Earth.
He's hanging out
and
on
it says
Earth
he'll return.
Right, Star-Lord
will return.
But he's like that stinger is just kind of a dumb throwaway James Gunn thing because he's like complaining about having to go mow someone's lawn.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He's like, why do I have to do that for that lady? She's got a son who can do that for her. And that's kind of it. And then Rocket has his own team.
And Rocket is the new Guardians leader, essentially.
So he goes off. We don't know how much time has passed because Groot is like huge. But
Groot is huge in that moment.
But they are. It's his team essentially because
they're listening to Korn.
Oh, the music at the end of it.
Do they listen to Korn in that?
No. I forget what he puts on. He does put on some music, but it's not. I was gonna say it's a Zeppelin song, but I don't think.
Well,
that's
it's
right.
Redbone, isn't it? "Come and Get Your Love" is what it ends with. It's the first song.
No, it ends with Gautier. They're all dancing in Nowhere.
No, that's before that moment. They have that moment where they're all dancing.
Right, that's the end. But you're saying that there's a song that they play when you see Crazy Big Groot in this new team?
When they go to fight wherever they're fighting, there's a song.
I don't remember. If there is, it's that team is Rocket, it's the Big Groot, it's Adam Warlock, one of the Yub kids.
Yeah.
And
brother.
And Kraglin.
Kraglin, yeah.
And I think that's it. It's essentially the regular cast have all dispersed and they're all gone their separate ways and stuff. Right. This is just like Cosmo, the dog is there.
Yeah.
So it's just like the ancillary characters that were not Guardians, but I guess are now official Guardians. So that's that. All right. End of 23. This one you called already. You got it.
Marvels?
This is Marvels.
This is the Marvels.
So this.
Oh, it's got quite the credit scene.
I mean, makes again. Like introducing characters, it makes no sense.
There's no sense. This is a very frustrating one.
Who is it that goes there? Do you remember?
It is.
Do you remember her name at all? She's the third lead in this movie.
I understand. Hold on. It's not Monica.
No, it's Monica.
Is it Monica? That's her name?
Yes.
It's Monica Rambeau. I was trying to think of her.
Spectrum is her. Which they never say.
Right. She
talks about it. She says,
but
I need a superhero name.
She gets. When she's fighting out in space.
There's like a crazy tear.
Right.
In like space time that opens up when they beat the generic bad guy lady.
Right, third act time, yeah.
She's supposed to go to the other side while Captain Marvel and Kamala are on the other side, and they're sealing it up, but she stays behind and she gets stuck on the other side of this portal, of this tear, whatever it is.
And when she wakes up,
she sees her mom.
Not just her mom.
Well, it's her mom. It's that she sees first, and she's accompanied by...
She is accompanied by a very poorly rendered beast.
Yes, well, as we've come to know, when they make these quick decisions and throw just CGI at the wall...
Boy, you can tell that is a quick decision render if I've ever seen it.
Hey, we need something for people to talk about for this movie, because there's not a whole lot to talk about, so we're just going to throw a generic X-Men character
X-Men
in here.
97's around the corner. Let's let's just lean in and we'll throw Hank McCoy in here.
Why not?
So yeah,
but
don't love that.
Is voiced by
Kelsey Grammer.
Kelsey Grammer, which doesn't mean anything other than it's cool, and I don't think anything will come from this. Just like all the other stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
about,
again,
it's not going to come from. Nothing's going to come from it.
Yeah.
So that's all I got for that one. I think that the other, if there is anything else, it's something to do with like the cats or something. Maybe at the end of Marvel's. I don't remember that. I don't actually have anything for the notes for this at all. So, those bands because that's the whole MacGuffin.
That's the whole,
that may or may not be tied to the 10 Rings. Maybe. I mean, because Carol's there when she talks to Shang-Chi about it, but she doesn't reference it at all, from what I remember.
Yeah.
So I don't know, or maybe if they are connected, they belong to some bigger jewelry, accessory, space magic thing. Maybe.
If only this franchise of movies had the time and resources to tell these stories.
That's the whole point of this.
Their storylines.
That none of this will matter in the long run, because there's not enough content within the next 2 years that I think they're going to address any of this stuff. And it's not like it matters to begin with anyways.
I disagree.
They dug the hole too deep.
I predict a post-credit scene very soon. Maybe even at the end of Fantastic Four.
Where literally all of this stuff gets thrown into
It will be the architect from the second Matrix movie in front of a series of screens behind him.
It's going to be... They've got Jeff Goldblum and Benicio del Toro.
It's going to be the guy who was just in Deadpool and Wolverine.
The TVA guy?
The TVA guy.
Why?
Because he's great. And he'll be perfect for this.
I guess.
Or maybe it's Loki in that chair. And he just sits and he's like, hey, while I'm holding everything together, I got to clear some things up. And it's just 5 minutes of exposition of somehow tying that all together.
For. He's literally time jumps and fixes
they had that chance,
entire
and
movie.
did not. That is not what they did with that opportunity.
Well, if anyone's going to go and like adjust and address any of this stuff, I guess it would be him or someone of equal... unnecessary. I don't need to see some of this stuff tied up. Like I don't need to see any of it tied up, man.
And
like nobody should remember some of this stuff, but I remember it, and that's bad. It's only bad for me, I guess.
It's been a struggle, is all I'm gonna say. But phases 1 through 3, which happened over 14 years, I could have told you everything.
Well, yeah, because it all directly led into itself, and there was payoff from all of it.
Yeah.
This is like literally payoff or no payoff in setting up stuff that they stretched themselves too thin in thinking that they were going to have all this wealth of content to tie up all of this stuff or just get people excited to drum up interest, maybe to see if anybody wants to see Harry Styles in a movie or something. I don't know the reasoning for it other than just because we can.
But according to you, keep giving them our money.
The story's got to continue.
Oh my gosh.
You got to keep the story going.
All right. So we're going to just keep on moving.
Otherwise, why be invested for the past 18 years?
All right. So
that's it for 23. There's only one in 24.
Last year.
Literally last year.
What was the Marvel movie I went to see? Oh, Deadpool and Wolverine then. Ugh. Well, you know what's funny? No, and you know what though? Full disclosure, I associate that so much more to being a proper send-off to Fox, the Fox universe.
Yeah, the whole end credits.
And I understand that, but I'm saying even as far as its narrative, I don't even take the MCU into consideration beyond the Jon Favreau scene at the beginning.
No, the TVA is the whole point of the movie.
Are they really the whole point of the movie, or are they just the thing that's kind of there? Like,
they are the bad guy. They're gonna blow up his reality. They're pruning it just to prove a point.
I get that, but like, do I really?
What? So what? It doesn't matter what the main narrative is. You're just there for Wolverine and Deadpool to team around with each other.
Yeah. Hey, you over there. Pretty much there just for Wolverine and Deadpool to team around with each other.
It explains why they get a whole host of them at the end to fight. Like, there's a purpose for it. He couldn't have done this on his own. If Fox would have given him another movie, he couldn't have done this. You wouldn't have gotten like all these crazy Deadpool variants and stuff. You wouldn't have got the payoff for the other ancillary Fox and or other side project Marvel movies to get tied up in this.
Look, I'm not going to say that Deadpool and Wolverine didn't benefit from being a Marvel production. I'm just saying that at its heart, it's not really concerning itself with being an MCU entry.
Well, no, because it is inherently built off of what came before in the X-Men universe, in the Fox stuff, than it ever did, like, going forward. But it's also lumped together with all these other ones being a part of the multiverse.
As we were coming up and we were going to do Cap, in my mind, it was like, oh, cool, I finally get to do an MCU movie on my podcast.
You just totally forgot about
because I literally forgot about Deadpool and Wolverine
that just goes
being
to show
an MCU entry. Like,
getting too burnt out or too old.
No, I just don't think of it as an MCU movie.
I don't understand. That is very much.
I mean, there's elements there. I understand that, but
Thor holds him.
What's it do to progress the story?
It's just a joke. It's fourth wall nonsense.
So it does not. It is just as useless as all of these post-credit scenes, is what you're saying.
No, it's all reference to something. It's all Easter egg stuff. Everything that is dead in the void is all an Easter egg to something. There's a giant Fox logo there. How does that make sense?
Again, it's all references to dead things that are not in the MCU.
It's a giant logo of the Fox logo,
which is not in the MCU. I get it.
No, it's a physical manifestation.
I understand
of
this.
The Fox logo. That is it. It's a tangible thing that exists there. That makes no sense.
I get it. I understand that. I get it. All right. What happens at the end of...
I mean, there's not really... It all gets tied up, other than the fact that...
What is the post-credit scene in that one?
There is none. It's the Fox send-off. It's the clip show at the end.
The Green Day Time of Your Life.
Right. And he doesn't even... There isn't... The only post-credits is hearing Johnny say all the bad mouth stuff.
Oh, that's right. Captain Storm. Captain Johnny Storm.
Human America?
Human America. Yeah.
That one's better.
Human America's pretty good. Yeah. Human America living in a movie.
I mean, you're going... That's not... Syllables are not right.
No, and see, it didn't work at all, right?
Not at all.
Yeah.
So, but there are things that they tie up at the end of it that you're assuming happen in maybe deleted scene stuff.
Yeah,
he basically asks the TVA lady to help. They left friends behind, and if he could help them out by putting them in the right places.
Right.
And he doesn't say save their universe.
He no way homes it.
But yeah, he just retcons it again. Laura is in that table scene.
She's there.
Somehow she's there.
She's certainly there, having a good old time with her.
I guess.
Her not dad.
Her not dad, which isn't even her dad. It's
right. It's not even her version of that. What is not her dad, right?
Yep.
So yeah,
it doesn't matter.
But good for them.
That's the thing. At the end, when it all ends, at the end of Secret Wars, all of it will just be unified into whatever cobbled together madness that they want it to be. X-Men exists, Fantastic Four exists, Wolverine's gonna do it till he's 90, because you're not gonna cast him again. He's had too much fun. He's gonna be back. So It is what it is.
I hope that they commit to the short Wolverine as their variant that they go with.
That was a
for all
real
of
guy.
them.
That was a real
That's a
short
real
guy.
dude, yes.
And they just superimposed his face on that short man.
Yes.
But that's the thing.
You're just too small.
Just too small.
That's what I want. All right. Wow. I can't believe there was only one last year and that was it.
Well, this writer strike.
Okay,
Writer strike
so
set everything back.
that
Cap
leads
was
us
supposed to be last year.
So that finally leads us to what? Oh, the anticipation is killing me. I gotta know. Well, there's only one way for you to know. You're just gonna have to catch the next pod, which I promise is coming very soon. So until then. S-T-U-B-S spells stubs. S-T-U-B-S spells stubs.
Stubs all done.